So very good morning, students. So today we are going to do our next experiment, which is our second experiment, experiment number 2. Okay. So now, what is the name of the experiment? We are going to verify Kirchhoff's current law. Okay. So the name of aim is verification of Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, in short it is termed as KCL. Okay, now Kirchhoff's law is also called Kirchhoff's junction rule, Kirchhoff's first rule, because Kirchhoff is given another rule also, that is called Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, so now we are going to talk about this Kirchhoff's current law. Now what actually it states? It states that for an electrical circuit, okay, algebraic sum of all the current entering and exiting a node or a junction is 0. For example, if I am drawing the wires like this and this is my node, okay, if current I1 is entering here, I2 is entering here, I3 is exiting from this point, also if I4 is exiting from this point, then according to this Kirchhoff's current law, I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4. That means current entering a node or a junction is equal to current exiting from that junction. Okay, all the sum of currents that are entering in a junction is equal to the net sum of the current which is exiting from the junction. So now we will move on to our experiment part. So I am going to brush it off, this whole diagram. Now I am going to write firstly what are my equipments that are required. Okay, so here I am going to write my equipments required. Equipments required. So I am going to include all the equipment and components here. So the first thing which is required is our breadboard, in which we are going to draw our circuit. The second one is our multimeter. Multimeter. Okay, multimeter which is acting as an ammeter. Acting as ammeter. The third one which we need is our DC power source. Okay, now we do also need our resistors. We are going to use resistance here. Okay, we are going to use two resistors, the values of which would be 100 ohm and 470 ohm. Okay, now we do also need connecting wires. Connecting wires. Okay, so these are the components which we require to perform our experiment. Now I am going to draw the circuit diagram for this KCL verification. used this multimeter to be A1. Now I am going to use one more resistance here. I am going to add another ammeter. We are going to term it as A2. This first one ammeter is A, the second one is A1, the third one is A2. Okay, and I am going to use it with other resistance also. So I am going to take here a DC voltage. Suppose take it as 2 volt. Since I have taken the resistance value of lower ones, okay, only 100 ohm and 470 ohm I am using here, so I am going to use low voltage here. Suppose I current is flowing at this point, I1 is flowing at this one and I2 is flowing through this one. Now, according to the Kirchhoff's current law, we have to prove that this I is equal to I1 plus I2. If we prove this thing, then this will prove that yeah, this circuit employs or complies with this Kirchhoff's current law. Name this resistance R1 and this one as R2. Okay, and take the R1 to be, take this R1 as 100 ohm and this R2 to be 470 ohm. Now what we will do, we will draw the whole of the circuit here and we will verify that whether this is true or not. Now one more thing we need to do here is that we will theoretically firstly find out that what is the value of I, I1 and I2, and then we will practically find out that whether those values, those theoretical values match with the practical values or not. So we will firstly find out the theoretical values of these current. Okay, so for finding out these values, we need to find out the net resistance in the circuit. So here you can check that R1 and R2 both resistance are connected in parallel. So by the formula we can say 1 by R equivalent is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Okay, that is our 1 by 100 ohm plus 1 by 470. Now when you will find out the net value, okay, at that time you will get the R equivalent to be 82.456 ohm. Approximately this would be the value of the net resistance which is present in this circuit. So when we have checked this value, so by the help of Ohm's law, okay, we can find out that what is the net current in this circuit. Okay, so by the help of Ohm's law we could write here that V is equal to IR, so the voltage is 2 is equal to I into 82.456 ohm. That means that I is equal to 2 divided by 82.456. Okay, that means we will get our net current to be 0.0242 ampere. Okay, this is the net current which is I. Okay, this is the theoretical value. Now for finding out this I1 and I2, we could use the current division rule to find out that what is the I1 and what is the I2. So by the help of current division rule, we could find out that this I1 is equal to 0.020 ampere approximately, and this I2, the value of this I2 would be around 0.04 ampere approximately. So the theoretical one is fine. Okay, just see here, this I is equal to I1 plus I2 theoretically. Now this thing we have to find out that practically also this happens or not. Okay, so we will now move on to our hardware part to find the data of this currents. So these are my equipments which we need. This is the breadboard. These are my two resistors. Just see here, these are the two resistors which I am going to use for performing my experiment. And here are the three multimeters which I am going to use as my ammeter. These two wires would be connected to measure the I2 from this multimeter. These two wires would be connected in the breadboard for measuring I1 from this multimeter, and these two multimeter ends of this multimeter would be connected for measurement of my I. And here is my DC power source, and here these are the wires of this DC power source which I am going to use as my power source end. Okay, now we will move on to the breadboard connection. So this is my breadboard. Now I am going to draw the connections here. So this is my first R1, that is of 100 ohm. So I am going firstly to bend the ends of this resistance so that it could be inserted in this breadboard finally. So my first resistance R1 is inserted in the breadboard, you can say it. Now what I have to do, I have to make this R1 with series with an ammeter, and then another set of R2 with another ammeter in series, and both of these series connection I am going to join as my parallel. So I am going firstly to connect R2 here. So this is my R2, the second resistance. You can check here, its color coding you can also check. It is of 470 ohm. The color coding is yellow, violet, brown, and the gold is for tolerance. Now I am going to insert it okay. So I have inserted this R2 resistance also. Now I am going to connect my R1 resistance with my ammeter. So here these two wires are my wires from ammeter. I am going to connect the negative one of the wire in series with this R1. So I am going to just connect my wire of this ammeter just below this resistance. So I just look at it here. Since whole of this line is shorted, I have connected the negative end of my multimeter in series with the R1 resistance, or I could say that I have shorted this R1 resistance with this multimeter negative end by connecting just below this in the same line. Okay, this whole line is shorted. Now similarly I would connect my second multimeter's negative end with my R2. So this is the negative end of my multimeter, second multimeter, which I am going to use as my ammeter. So just see it, I have also shorted it with my R2. Now why I have connected the multimeter negative ends here? This is because the positive end I would be connecting towards the positive power source. Okay, since I am going to provide my positive source from this side, so I am going to connect the multimeter's end, positive end at this side, the negative end as it is at this side. Okay, and the negative of my power source is at this side. I will provide the negative source as this side. So just see it. Firstly, I am going to short both of this resistance by use of a connecting wire. This is the wire, I have cut it down, and I am going to just short the end of these two resistance. So just check it. I have shorted the end of the resistance by the help of a wire, and now at this end only I am going to provide the negative end of my power source. This is the wire of the negative end of my power source, my DC power source. Now I am going to connect this at any of the junction, because whole of these line and this line I have shorted. So it would work if I would connect it here or here, since this wire would short all of this thing by joining it. Now what I will do, I would connect the positive end of multimeters also at this time. So now this multimeter positive end of this A1, this A1 ammeter, I am going to insert somewhere here. Okay, and this is my second ammeter. Okay, the second ammeter which I have connected in series with my first resistance, and this one is the negative end of the third ammeter which I have connected in series with my second resistance, that is R2. Okay, now the positive end of my third ammeter is this one, and this I am going to short with the positive end of the second ammeter. Okay, so now positive end of both ammeter have shorted. I have made this thing as to make it a junction, okay, or a node. Now what I can do here, I can just connect it with my power source positive end, or I could add a multimeter also. The thing is that I would add a multimeter positive end here, okay, by help of a wire. So I am going to insert a connecting wire here in the pores, such that the junction is now having an outlet. So this is my wire. Now at this wire end, at this end of the wire, I am going to connect my first ammeter, that is A, that would measure I negative end. Okay. So I am going to connect it here. I have inserted the negative end of this first ammeter, negative end to this junction, and now I would connect the positive end of the first ammeter somewhere here, so that I could give my positive source current here at this blue end. Okay, so this green wire is the negative wire of the first ammeter. Okay, so this first ammeter is named by A, which I have already done in my circuit. Now what I will do, I will give my power source to this positive end of the ammeter. So this is what my whole circuit is. Let us begin from the positive end. I will explain you again. This end is my positive power source end. Now at this end I have connected the positive terminal of first ammeter. Okay, and the negative terminal of the ammeter is shown by this green wire. Okay, here I have made a junction where I have connected a wire so that other multimeters could be connected. Okay, which are acting as an ammeter. So here is that point at the green wire point. Here I have connected a wire to make a junction here at this point. Now at this point, this first red wire is the ammeter of the resistance 1, that is R1, and this ammeter is called A1. Okay, in circuit I have explained already. Now here this wire, this red one end of the multimeter, this end is of the A2 ammeter, okay, which I have connected in series with this R2 resistance, and here I have shorted both of the end of these resistance, and here this is the wire of negative power source. Okay, so this is my whole circuit. Now I will make you look like that how is this circuit looks when we are going to zoom out it, and we will then give it the power source and we will measure the values of current. Now I will show you the readings and the voltage of my DC power source by zooming it this thing out. So just look at the connections right here. Now you can see 3 of the multimeters are there. Okay, this first one is the A, the second one is the A1, and the third one is the A2 multimeter. Okay, and this is my DC power source. So now what I am going to do, I am going to increase the voltage of this DC power source, and I am going to make the DC power source voltage to 2 volt, and then I am going to show you that what are the readings of this ammeter. So firstly what I am going to do, I am firstly going to switch on my ammeters. Just check it. I am going to switch on my ammeters. So currently there are approx 0 values are there. Okay, and just I have already placed this knob to the milliampere DC current, and I have already put these knobs in their right place, as already we have learned in the first experiment that how to use the multimeter in as an ammeter. Just check it here. I have put my knob here at 200 milliampere. Okay, since in theoretical value we have found out that the values would be around 20 milliampere, okay, or approximately above to that thing. So that's the reason I have put my knob, all the three knobs, the three multimeter knobs, to 200 milliampere. Okay, so now I am going to show you my DC voltage source, and now I am going to switch the power on of the DC power source so that you can see that what is the voltage and how I am going to increase it. Now I am going to switch on my DC power source. Just check it here. The voltage, currently it is not showing any voltage because I haven't rotated this knob and I haven't provided the output from this DC power source. Now I will increase the voltage value up to 2 volt. I am going to increase it by step size, small step size, and I have made the value to 2 volt. Now when I have made it the value to 2 volt, just check it here that what are the readings in my ammeter. Just check the readings. The readings are quite visible. Okay, so just check it here. The first reading, which is the I reading, it is around 21 milliampere. So this one is fluctuating little bit. Okay, it will become steady in few seconds. Okay, so just see it. It nearly became steady. Now just check the values here. The A value, okay, or the A ammeter. In the A ammeter, the reading is around 21.74 milliampere. In the theoretical one, we have found out that the value was around 24 milliampere, okay, of the I current. But in practically, we are seeing that the value is around 21.71 milliampere. Now in the second multimeter, which is acting as an ammeter only, so this one I have connected in series with my R1. So this is showing me current 17.81 milliampere. In the theory part, I have checked the value was around 20 milliampere, but in practicality it is showing 17.81 or 82 milliamps. And here the third one, you can see that the value, it is showing 3.943 milliampere. So in the theory part it was around 4 milliampere. So these are the values. Now we will just check these things, that whether this I is equal to this I1 plus I2 or not, and we will check that the theory is applicable on this circuit or not. So I am going to firstly steadily reduce the voltage. I have reduced the voltage steadily. Now I will shut down my DC power source. Now we will again move to the theory. So here you can see the readings. So I am going to write down the observation table. Observation table is there. So here I could write the theoretical values firstly, and then second one our practical values. Okay, the theoretical values which I have got by using the formulas, and the practical value which I have got by doing a experiment. Okay. So here I am going to draw a table here. Here is the practical value, the theoretical values. The first value would be of I, the second value would be of I1, and the third value would be of I2. Okay, so the I theoretical value which I have got, here you can see it is 0.024 ampere. 0.024 ampere. I am taking only 3 digits after decimal, and here you can see it is about 21.80 milliampere. That means if you convert it in ampere, you will get 0.021. The theoretical value which I have got is 0.020 ampere, and the practical value which I have got is around 0.017 ampere. Okay, and the third and the last one 4.3 milliampere. That means it is also around 0.004 ampere. Okay, so these are the readings. So I am now going to switch off the multimeters here and our DC power source. Okay, so now we can see here in both the cases, in the theoretical one and in the practical one, I is equal to I1 plus I2, but there is a little difference between the readings of theoretical and the practical one. Now what's the reason of this mismatch which has happened in the reading? Okay, the reason which is here is that the resistance value which is the theoretical one, it is not same as in the case of practical one. Okay, because a gold colored band of tolerance was present in both the resistance, so a plus minus 5% of tolerance were present in both the resistance. So if you are taking this R1 resistance, in the theoretical value we are using it as 100 ohm, but in the practical one the value was ranging from 95 ohm to 105 ohm, that is plus minus 5% of 100. Okay, similarly there was tolerance also in 470 ohm, that's why the practical value of the R2 was not same as that of the theoretical one. That's the reason that we have got a little different reading from that of the theoretical one. Okay, but here also you can see that I1 plus I2 is equal to I. So that means that the circuit is following the Kirchhoff's current rule or Kirchhoff's current law. Thus we can say that this circuit is following the KCL, and in conclusion you could write that because of the tolerance we have got somewhat different reading, but the circuit is in compliance with the KCL. So this is the last part of this experiment. Thank you.